is the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, Nick Aldis.
This is David Starr.
Hi, I am Kylie Ray.
Hey, this is Christian. This is Joey Ryan.
Hey, this is professional wrestler Colt Cabana.
Hello, this is Mandy Leon. And I just want to let you know.
Click on the button.
And I'm asking you.
And make sure you guys
Subscribe.
subscribe.
Make sure to subscribe.
And subscribe.
Make sure you subscribe.
Make sure you subscribe.
To subscribe.
Subscribe? What?
I've listened to this channel.
What are you waiting for? Subscribe.
What's up YouTube, and tomorrow is the first ever NXT UK TakeOver event in Blackpool. And also recently the WWE actually just opened a performance center in the UK. That global localization thing, they are serious about that. But for everybody watching this right now, TakeOver Blackpool actually starts at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You're from the West Coast or the center stuff. You know what, figure it out. But because it's going to be such a monumental moment for WWE and NXT UK, I had to get my predictions for it. So let's get into it. First off, Travis Banks is taking on Jordan Devlin. So out of all the matches on the card, honestly, this is probably the least interesting. Mainly because of the backstory going into it. So it's mainly like, I challenge you, you challenge me, let's fight at TakeOver, and that's really the match. These two individuals as wrestlers, I mean, they're pretty good. The in-ring match is gonna be pretty good, but like the interest of the match, because like there's no real backing behind it, it's lacking a little bit. But if you want to compare this to like NXT Arrival, they always had a couple matches here and there that really had no story behind it, more of like I need to fill up the card, so let's just have these two guys fight. That's pretty much what this match is. There's nothing really too interesting, honestly. Between the two, I'm more interested in Travis Banks, so I'm just gonna have Travis get the young dub. So Travis got it. We're gonna have the crowning of the first ever NXT UK Tag Team Champions, as Mustache Mountain takes on Zach Gibson and James Drake, also known as the Young Grizzled Veterans, which is an awesome tag team name. Now this can go two ways. So you have Mustache Mountain, who are essentially like the mega stars of NXT UK because of their, you know, the US exposure on top of their massive UK popularity. While it makes a lot of sense for them to be the first ever NXT UK Tag Team Champions, because they'll probably bring in a lot more interest to the show. A lot of people who like know Mustache Mountain, like, oh yeah, they're over there right now. Let me go see what they're doing with their tag team titles. That would spark a lot of interest for NXT UK. I just don't think long term it would probably be the best move. I don't need to say too much about the match because I already know it's gonna be fire. But having Zach Gibson and Drake actually win the titles, like, it does a lot more for the whole division than it does just for, like, you know, ratings for NXT UK. Because if you go ahead and give it to Mustache Mountain, I mean, at this point, like, we all know they're probably the best tag team on the roster because, like, they're the most popular, right? On top of them just being, like, that freaking good. Like, not taking away from what they can do in the ring because they're great. But once they already win the titles, like, there's not that many teams that can really take these guys on. Then if they defeat Mustache Mountain, there's gonna be a really strong interest in them as champions because everyone's just gonna be more interested to see of like when's Mustache Mountain getting the titles back. So if Gibson and Drake actually win the titles this time around, you have established tag team in those guys, you have an ultra popular team in Mustache Mountain, and then you can continue to build up the rest of the tag team division that can fuel Mustache Mountain and fuel the tag team champions, rather than just having Mustache Mountain be the tag champions and then they kind of have no one to feud with because no one's really on their level to take the titles from them. So for that reason, not only have Gibson and Drake actually hold the tag team titles, but if Tyler Bate and Trent Seven win it, trust me, I don't care at all. Those guys are great. In a no disqualification match, it's gonna be Dave Mastiff versus Eddie Dennis. Now the weirdest thing about this entire match is that Eddie Dennis, who is built like this, is the heel. When you're facing a guy that looks like this. You see how big he is? You see how small he is? How's he the bad guy? It's not to take away from Eddie as a character, because you watched like in Progress, I believe, his heel character there was pretty freaking entertaining. It's such a weird dynamic. It's almost like The Miz and Braun Strowman, but like I don't feel like Eddie Dennis is at that WWE heel level, if that's really a thing. To be taking on such like a massive person and actually take the W from it. Just really can't see that happening. Also, this is the first ever TakeOver event, so there's gonna be a lot of people who might have never even watched TakeOver UK before, or NXT UK actually, that when they see like this giant dude lose, it's like, okay, well, he's obviously just a joke. Now, Dennis could win this match by heel tactics and whatnot, but in all seriousness, a lot of, at least US fans are watching this. There's a good chance that the only thing that we at least probably watch is probably only the TakeOver events because, well, NXT UK is kind of like in the middle of the day for us and a lot of us aren't watching it. I'm assuming that WWE is going to want to push Dave eventually because like, he is a very big dude. Regardless if he actually wins a title or not, they're definitely going to push him to at least the main event, to at least a TakeOver to face a UK champion. So I think he kind of has to go out there and just absolutely destroy Eddie Dennis. For the NXT UK Women's Championship, is going to be Rhea Ripley defending her title against Toni Storm. Really no way around this. Toni Storm like has to win, and she just has to. Toni Storm's the type of wrestler that cannot be portrayed as an underdog whatsoever. She's just so good that she has to be on top no matter where she is. She's essentially the alpha of the women's division, and she kind of needs to stay on top no matter what she does after this. If you look at the NXT women's division or the UK women's division, Toni Storm is most likely going to be a future women's champion that's going to be main event pay-per-views one day on the main roster. She's just one of those special talents that you guys just have to protect no matter what, because she's just too good to be losing too much. I do think it's really good to have Rhea Ripley be the first ever women's champion. That way way she can actually, you know, have a name value in the NXT UK division. So if and when Toni Storm ever wins the NXT UK Women's title, I mean, there's other women that can still feud with other people on the roster. Now, since Ripley has like a really big credential behind her name, she can definitely be part of like the second biggest women's feud on the roster. If it's her versus like Zia Brookside, you know, big strong girl versus kind of smaller girl, then you can bring up other women to face Toni Storm like Isla Dawn, or maybe bring over Dakota Kai. The crowd's gonna be behind Toni Storm so much that it's gonna be really bad if she does not win this title. Without a doubt, she needs to win this title. I just can't see her as being like an underdog wrestler that has to chase for the title. She just has to win it now. And finally, in the main event, it's gonna be Pete Dunne defending the WWE United Kingdom Championship against Joe Coffey. Well, I think at least there's absolutely no one on that roster besides Joe Coffey that can actually defeat Pete Dunne for this title. Don't think it's gonna happen at this takeover. I think Pete Dunne's probably gonna retain. I think this gives WWE the opportunity to actually start building up Joe Coffey as more of like a singles wrestler and less of like the whole faction he's a part of, and make him a little more serious as a threat for the title. I know what really got me into watching ICW was, you know, Joe Coffey and then Grado, because Grado's just awesome. But how serious Joe Coffey was 24/7 and just like his intensity just really made me love the guy. I feel like if WWE could capitalize on like that seriousness and that intensity of Coffey, that he could definitely defeat Dunne at like the next takeover. I think takeover needs to end on a really high note because it's their first one ever. And Pete Dunne holding the title above his head is probably the right move. And then maybe Mustache Mountain wins the tag team titles, maybe like a big shot of all three of them holding all the gold. And then you realize like, whoa, these guys are too popular for this roster. Just send them to the main roster already. But yeah, guys, that's my TakeOver Blackpool predictions. In the comments down below, is this the first time you're ever watching NXT UK? Because I know I've only seen like a few episodes, but I try to keep up on it by like watching YouTube clips. And if you're an avid NXT UK viewer, I mean, what's your predictions? Who do you think's gonna win? But let me know in the comments down below. Make sure to like, comment, share, and always subscribe. And we outie.
It's up on my neck, it's causing a seizure, partly amnesia, sorry but pardon my visa. It's hardly a teaser, party with diva, smart girl, she a keeper. I cannot think of the damage I did on this planet on daily, it's harder to